Welcome to Marketing Decoded, the podcast where we unravel the mysteries of marketing for busy business owners. Here are your hosts, Daniel Kodum and Jackie Strack.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Marketing Decoded with Daniel
and Jackie, here from D-Kode Tech.
We're glad to have you. Today, we thought we'd talk about SEO. Now, I know everyone's going, yeah, I hear SEO all the time, or SEO is dead, or whatever. But I think the important thing right now is first understand what is SEO. And the reason I bring this up is because I was meeting with a client the other day, and they were talking to me about how they were using this company for SEO, and that company wasn't doing SEO. And the response she gave was, well, I don't really understand. And I think that's a problem I've seen with a lot of business owners and marketing directors is the true idea of what SEO is has gone muddled through the years. So I thought we'd first just go through and describe what SEO is intended to be. And then we can do a high level overview of the factors that impact SEO and why you'll hear the term SEO used for stuff that doesn't really give you as much value as you think you're getting. Jackie, anything you want to add before I dive in?
I think we'll probably get to this later, but it's just to do with the connection between SEO and leads and how strong or weak that connection is.
Absolutely. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. It's a term that was developed years ago to basically ensure that you are trying to get higher up in Google search results. So if you own a carpet cleaning business and someone types in carpet cleaner, you want to show up as high up on the results in Google as possible. In order to do that, you generally, not all the time, but I'd say 85 to 90% of the time, you will need to do some degree of SEO. And the reason I say not all the time is because if you have a unique product or service, you have very little competition, it's unlikely you'll need to do as much as someone who, like a dentist or a realtor, who has a ton of competition. And the degree and mode of what you do for SEO is impacted by your industry and what you're doing compared to your competition. I will also add that if you are starting SEO now versus if you were starting 7 years, 8 years ago, it's much harder to get in competitive spaces to get up there. It's not impossible. It just will take longer to do effective SEO. And Google, Bing, all the major players, and we'll talk about Google mainly here, have created systems to avoid tricking them as easily as it used to be. And I'll use one system which got the term keyword stuffing, where if you wanted, using the carpet cleaner example, if you want to be a carpet cleaner, and you would put that word 20 times on a page, and the search engines would see that and rank you higher. Nowadays, that doesn't work. Nowadays, we're dealing with a web of content, high quality content that is imperative to doing that. I'm going to have Jackie talk about high quality content in a moment, but I want to kind of give a perspective on some of the key metrics used for SEO by the search engines. And then how companies that market themselves as helping with SEO grab onto these and then utilize them as a means to say they do SEO. So first and foremost is any content on your website is used as a basis for SEO. In fact, I would say about 70%, if not higher, of SEO is based on how good your content is, how relevant it is for the term that is being searched, also known as the keyword. And we say keyword, but it could be more than one word. So if you put best carpet cleaner, that is 3 words, but still you'll hear people say keyword. And so when someone types in like best carpet cleaner, Google is taking milliseconds to search the websites they have in their database that they've previously searched to identify which ones that term matches the best at and puts them in order based on their internal formulas. So content is one of the key elements. Another one that is there is, for Google purposes, anything Google based helps. Google reviews, Google business, Google posts, YouTube. Yes, YouTube is owned by Google, if you didn't know that. All these have impact on it. We could spend hours and hours on this, but I'm just giving you the high level. Your listings, your directory listings. What are directory listings? Directory listings are different platforms, which I consider them like online yellow pages for those who remember yellow pages, but they're online directories of information. Chambers of Commerce have it. Yelp has it. Google, their Google Business is a directory listing. Apple has it. Bing has it. But all these, the more consistent, etc., it's better. Your website speed is a factor. Your website SEO optimization, including some back-end metadata, which is some back-end information about each page and site, is important. I know I'm throwing out a lot, but a lot of this is more for benefit of giving you a perspective that it's not just one thing, but it's a lot of different factors. So what these companies are doing is they're coming in saying, we do SEO, and they're taking one or maybe two of these buckets, claiming SEO when they may be touching upon 1% of this formula that's required for SEO. So in the client's example, they had hired a company that they didn't know it, but they were just managing 4 or 5 of their listings online, directory listings. They weren't doing any content, which is really critical. They were not doing any on-site optimization. So that's why I say when you're evaluating whether to do SEO, understand the multitude of factors and understand that when you're looking for companies, know that it can't be just one aspect of things. Ask them, the critical question is ask them, what aspects of SEO are you doing? And if they say everything, have them give you a list. And you can do your own search, but you can compare it to the list of stuff I just gave. And you should be doing content 100% of the time, should be adding content. And you should be also doing several of the other ones. I'd say of the list I gave you, make sure content and on-page SEO optimization are 1 and 2. And then some of the rest follows suit in different orders of priority based on industry. Jackie, I've been talking a lot. I know you are a content guru. I'm going to throw it at you to kind of go over content a little bit more detail as it relates to SEO.
Okay, awesome. And just kind of to piggyback on what you said, Daniel, I think it is interesting to remember that SEO started kind of as a way for tech-savvy people to game the system a little bit and help businesses get an inside edge on making their keywords rank. And there were lots of methods back then that, like you said, don't work now and can actually cause a penalty if you try to use that nowadays. You mentioned one. Another one that sometimes clients ask me about is putting keywords like in white text on blank parts of the website to try and get Google to recognize it and rank them higher. And that's not something that we'd ever recommend. Because Google and the search engines now are so really intelligent, you can't game them in the same way, and you have to have content that is truly helpful to people, that's written by a human, and that matches up with people's search intent. So really, content is king, and there's no way around it. You just have to make sure that on your web presence, you have content that is serving people and helping them to find what they need to find. And one of the great ways to do that is to make sure that the web pages on your website have high quality content that match the intent of the page that somebody is searching for. Another great thing to do is to post blogs on a weekly basis that incorporate long tail version of your keywords. And And another thing that we do sometimes to help with search engine optimization is creating pillar pages, which are basically really in-depth blog posts that the search engines recognize as being highly useful to somebody who wants to get a comprehensive overview of a certain topic. So those are some recommendations that we usually start with, but another thing that I just think is really important to mention is you can't, and I know we've said similar versions of this in other episodes, but you can't go with a company that just does plug and play, where they do some content and leave it at that. Because the search engines are so smart, they really prioritize content that is timely and that is relevant and not outdated. So it's important to go with a company that is revisiting content regularly and making sure to update it.
So I'm going to give two analogies to piggyback on what Jackie is saying. One is you'll often hear me use the term spider web of content, because on a website, it's important for things to connect and help build it to give it strength when Google is reviewing your website. This is how you have high quality content. On a very simplistic level, if you are, we'll use the carpet cleaner example. If you are a carpet cleaner and you have a page for carpet cleaning, and then within that page you talk about stain removal, those words stain removal should link to a page about stain removal. And then that stain removal page can link to a page about blood stain removal. And each of these three pages I just said may link to a page about best way to remove a stain on a carpet in city A. And that will have a page about the city A and the services available. And that city page could then have a page about the city. So these are cascading down and connecting, creating the spider web of content. But in a more traditional format, for those who did research projects, whether high school, college, you did them by researching, finding authoritative research material and citing them. And sometimes when you cited them, you found and read those citations, you may have gone to those citations and found other ones. That methodology of validation through different citations is what linking is in the online space. It's how the whole search engine optimization foundation is built on. And the higher the quality, the better. We will soon do an episode on AI and content, but I will say creating content through AI doesn't necessarily translate to high quality content. And I will just say there is a growing crackdown on AI generated content because it's becoming spammy. And duplicative. So don't think when I'm talking about content that you can just go to ChatGPT or Gemini or one of the others and just ask it to write you an article. We had one client do that recently because they write their own content, and they gave us 3 pages for different things, and 70% of the content overlapped and was duplicative. So it would have been damaging for their SEO if we had actually posted it. So keep that in mind when you're looking at it. Let me take a step sideways to where this inherent question arose from. How do you pick the right company to do SEO? Okay. So before you can answer that, the first question you would ask is, what are your goals behind SEO? And Jackie brought up leads. That is always an inherent goal, but leads don't always translate right away or as clean with SEO. Let me explain what I mean by that. If you are a company that has not done SEO in a highly competitive space, it may take you in excess of a year to really get good SEO. Doesn't mean you won't get leads at some point during that year or more. It means though that you may not get the return on your investment anytime in the near future. However, marketing is a multi-touch industry now. People don't go look at one thing, they look at multiple things. So part of SEO is also expanding your presence in the online space and your brand awareness in the online space. So SEO can, while it can be measured by leads, it should be one of numerous factors. Another one should be, to what degree is your site available and visible in the online space? This can be seen through organic traffic. This is probably the number one thing clients will look for, is to increase their organic traffic. Organic means through SEO means, pretty much, for simplicity. And the idea behind it is the more you are increasing organic traffic, if you're doing the right content and everything, you're driving people who are likely going to be needing your services, and they're becoming more and more aware of it. So while rankings may take a while to get your keywords ranked, you could see organic traffic grow in double or triple digits during that first year, which would have a very, very positive impact to your business. And you would see it in the overall presence you have in the online space. So when you are looking at things and looking for things, first find out your goal. Once you have the goal, then start asking and be specific with, what are these companies going to do for SEO? And for most business owners, it's going to be overwhelming. It may be gibberish. I've heard people say SEO is like magic, or I don't get it, or I've been blown over or screwed or whatever. Take the time to at least understand it at 1,000-foot level. What are they offering? What are they going to be doing? I will tell you one big no-no: if they don't do content, and US-based content, if you're in the US or whatever country you're in, make sure they're local content writers. It's important for them to understand the culture, the syntax, the slang of the local country. And so if they're not doing any content or even mentioning content, they're not a good SEO company. The other thing is on page SEO. There are things that can be on with linking things, with meta information. If there's no discussion about that, again, walk away. They are not the right company for you. The third thing that I would say among them, and this is one where many companies will use different terms. You may hear the word digital PR or backlinking. This is basically where your site is connected to outside sites. And digital PR works by, think of it like press releases, but it's a little bit more robust than that. Backlinking can be done in numerous ways, but within backlinking, whatever you do not use a service that you pay for backlinks. Google will ding you. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow. You might even see a small bump initially, but Google will find out, because these companies, what they do is they sell their links so much that Google has programs that are catching them. And then anyone who bought one of those will get dinged. And it will then become what's called a toxic backlink, and you've just wasted money on it. Jackie, you want to add anything? I know I've been going on about several things, but
Yeah, I think all of that is super important. And what I would add is just that, yes, SEO is a long-term endeavor. It's not the kind of thing that you do and you get an instant result from. Sometimes you do get a result instantly, but it'll build on what you get at the beginning, and it'll continue to build onward. And there's kind of a rule of thumb that is known in the marketing world, which is that a prospective customer, has to see something 7 times to make a move and to take an action. So with SEO, it's a cumulative thing where we're helping businesses to get in front of people's eyes. And the more that they can do that, the higher the chances that somebody will take an action and pick up the phone, or, fill out a web form or something like that to do a conversion. But SEO, one important thing that I like to emphasize with people is that SEO, while it does gradually and organically lead to a better web presence, which therefore drives leads. It's different from pure lead generation. So it's a slightly separate thing. And if someone's looking for immediate leads right away, then SEO is probably going to be something that you want to pair with something else, like Google Ads or something like that.
100% agree with you. Whatever company you hire, whatever you do, make sure you have separate measurements you're measuring to your goals. So if your goal is to increase organic traffic, make sure you're comparing it year over year, period after period, knowing your business cycles. Because if you're a retailer and you're comparing Christmas to March, that's not a true comparison, because your probably Christmas is busier. So whatever your cycle is, year over year is always better. But if you don't have that data set, at least use period over period, with the understanding that your cycle may and a thing I always discourage clients to do is do not try to measure your rankings by searching yourself. It is generally not accurate. Even if it's accurate briefly, the more you search yourself, the more Google recognizes that what's going on, and it generally will think that you do not like their original results and start giving you other options, and your rankings go lower and lower for you alone. Doesn't mean for everyone else. So if you want to see what you rank for a keyword, use some of the programs out there that you can see what your rankings are for different keywords. There's SEMrush, there's Agency Analytics, and numerous others where you can put in your website, put in the keywords you want to monitor, and get the stats you need. So with that said for this episode, know what SEO is, know what your goals are, identify the company that knows SEO based on the parameters we gave and can measure it, and then avoid using your own systems. Use the systems that are out there that will professionally give you the right metrics, and you'll get a successful SEO campaign. If you do all that, you will see your business and marketing grow. With that said, Jackie, unless you have anything.
I think you covered it, Daniel.
All right. That'll do it for this episode of Marketing D-Kode. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. Please be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast player. To sign up for your own free assessment, visit www.dcodetech.com/free-fitness-assessment.